Hi,
Hi,
hear me
Stephen.
okay?
You okay? How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm really thankful for have you here today.
Oh,
I'm
th
really, I have been listening to your last work like 1,000 times, and I'm really thankful for your art and for you as a guest today.
oh,
I'm
well, thank you so
really
much.
happy.
I'm honored to be here. How are you doing today?
Oh, it's great. Thank you. If you're
Okay.
okay, Stephen, I would like to begin this chat with a little history, your history as a musician, if you're okay with that.
Of course, I'm okay with that. Absolutely. I started out really young. I took a big interest in music when I was like probably three, four, and five. I had a lot of little toy instruments that I was playing nonstop, listening to records. We had these vinyls and my family would put them on and I would just respond immediately. I wasn't into like the kids music. I was more into like I wanted to hear like the Commodores or some really cool 70s tunes. And I was just, I was born in 75, so by the time I was around like 1980, I was just really into still the late 70s kind of sound and stuff. And then um, they got me a little play drum set. I was playing, on the toy drum kit and the little horn. I love Chuck Mangione and Herb Albert, and I would like do the air horn to the music, So um, I think it's around five, they got like a little keyboard, and I started learning the notes, and I took a little keyboard class and I took to it. And then by the time I was six, I was already like picking out show tunes on the TV and stuff on the organ. So
Wow. So you do lot, your art is not only the guitar, you do play a lot of instruments.
yeah, I didn't actually start on the guitar till I was around 12 or 13. So I was all on the keyboards when I was six. And I had a teacher from the time I was six all the way up till 12. And I went to compete in the Yamaha keyboard festivals when I was around between the time of 10 and 12. And actually, there's one on my webpage I posted on YouTube, the audio of it. And by that time, I didn't really enjoy competing that much. To me, it's just I like playing music, but that's what you did. And I got, I believe I placed about fourth in the nation for that. I made it to the semifinals. Had I won third, I would have won the trip to the Disneyland and all that. But
Wow.
in the division that was, in that age range. So I did rather well. And after that, I started getting interested in guitar. But I took drums like around eight or nine, and I loved playing drums too. So I had a extensive musical background before I even hit the guitar.
Wow. So you are a great musician and
Try.
know that no, you are for sure. And you are also a light director. You have a long history like a light director, great light director.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got into lighting when I was about 19 when I moved to Los Angeles, and
Hmm.
I was the head lighting director at the Key Club, which is one of the premier clubs, or which was one of the premier clubs on Sunset Strip in Hollywood. It's not there anymore. It was the club that used to be Gazzari's back in the day, in the 80s, and then it turned into the Key Club, which is right next to the Roxy. And I had done lights all up and down the strip, at the Roxy, the Whiskey A Go Go, the Viper Room, the Troubadour. It was Billboard Live when it first started. Then it transferred into the Key Club, and I ran lights at a music school as well. So by the time I was 23, I became Toto's head lighting director, which was a huge responsibility and the biggest honor on the planet. It was just incredible. And then for the next almost 20 years, I was their lighting guy. So
Wow. And you did great things like the live in Poland.
yeah, I did the live in Poland. I did the 40th anniversary in 2018.
40
There's a
trips
few
around the
others in there.
sun. Hmm.
What's that?
You also did the 40 trips around the sun tour
Yeah,
with them.
yeah, I did the DVD shoot and all the stuff that you see on YouTube. And we went and did I can't remember the name of it, in 2017 or 16. We did a quick um, run out to Switzerland and did a show. I think it was in Basel. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but we did a show there too that was filmed, and other ones too. And along with Toto, I did lights for Olivia Newton-John. I was her lighting director for a little while. The Down from the Mountain tour, which was in about 2002, was all the amazing musicians for the movie "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" by the Coen brothers. And that was a winter and summer tour, and it had like Alison Krauss, Union Station, Ricky Skaggs, and Kentucky Thunder. He wasn't actually on the soundtrack, but he came out on the tour with us. And Emmylou Harris. I mean, the list goes on and on. It was just incredible to be with those musicians. And so that Olivia, and then with Otmar Liebert too, I was also his lighting director. And then I eventually, after being his lighting director, I joined his band, and then I toured in his band, performing for the next 4 years all around, Australia, New Zealand, South America, North America. So yeah, it's been quite a ride, So
You've been
it's been,
busy so much.
yeah, I've done a lot, and I'm really proud of it all. But now I'm busy, with our kids. We got 3 kids at home. I'm full time with them, and it's really hard for me to be gone for months at a time, and
Mhm.
it's hard to say no. I mean, to the tours, and they're my tour family with Toto, and I miss them terribly. And at the same time, though, I need to be here for the kids, and we
Okay.
have let's see, 5, 7, and 13 now. So I've got my hands full, and but I'm going to be doing actually a show with Toto this fall. We're going to do a benefit show with them, so here in Los Angeles. So I'm looking forward to that with them.
Okay.
So,
Wow. So you never stop.
oh, I never stop, and if I want to make a record like I did, I have to burn the candle at both ends, and I do it all myself because I don't have a budget. So I just do it on my laptop, my MacBook, and after they go to bed, then I'll work at night after. So
Okay.
it took quite some time to do this record, but yeah, no, I don't stop, which is probably why I look extremely tired.
No, that's great. I have 3 kids too, and they are
You.
almost the same age of yours, and it's
Oh,
a full-time job.
yes. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yes.
That's
And
amazing. You're doing so many wonderful things, and I'm so grateful for the wonderful review you did for me. Thank you for doing that.
you're too kind because I listened to your last album the first times and I said, wow, wow, why didn't I heard about that before? Because I think it went out on April this year.
Yeah, April 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's really great. Do you
Oh,
want to
thank you.
tell me something more about it? I know it's a journey. It's an album about your adventure in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah. It was about I have a lot of wonderful memories on tour as a whole, but there's some special times in New York City where I did a lot of tours through there with multiple different artists, and I've had so many wonderful times. And I just love New York City. I think it's just such a magical energy, a great vibe. The food is awesome. The people are great. The just the buildings, everything about it. I just loved it the first time. I had never been there until I started on tour, and so I was really excited. And I think the first time I was there with the Down from the Mountain tour in 2001 or 2002, I think it was. And my first gig in New York City was doing lights at Radio City Music Hall. So it was just starting off right at the top. And it was pretty amazing. And there it's a union house. You can't really touch the lighting board, but you can direct the show. And everyone was so nice and professional. I was pretty, new into the game back then, but they a really great crew. They were really nice to me. They could tell I was young and new to it, but they were really, really cool and helpful. So I've played a lot of shows there too. With Otmar, we did 12 shows at the Blue Note. It was
Mhm.
an amazing week. We did like 2 shows a night, and I would take the subway down, with my guitar, and we played BB King's there, and I did BB King's Running Lights for Toto. Just done so many things. And anyway, the list goes on. So I wanted to take all those memories of, and put it into an album, just great memories going to the Guggenheim Museum with Olivia Newton-John. I mean, going to the MoMA Museum with Otmar. It's just great stuff good and happy memories. I just want to throw it into an album and kind of pull from the music I grew up with, kind of circle back to, the 70s kind of music I
Yes.
listened to when I was a kid, because the whole record kind of has a 70s vibe to it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like Got to Be Real, but Cheryl Lynn, David Page wrote that. And to be working with him, and and him being my boss, him and Luke, just it's so inspiring. So I pulled, from that too, the Toto thing. And so I just wanted to pack it all into a record and try something new and different.
And it worked great. It's really a great journey because what I thought about this record when I was listening to it is that the listener is there with you in that seat, in that moment. And it's really great for
Oh,
me.
well,
It's
that's wonderful
really,
to hear.
really, really great. And I think I've listened to it 1,000 times. It's on every rotation here in my house.
A lot to me. Thank you so much. I really
Really
appreciate it.
great. And I have to say that um, this album, it's not only you, but you have special guests on it, like Lenny
Yeah,
Castro, Ken Freeman
yeah.
on bass. Can you tell
Ken,
me
yeah,
more?
yeah. Ken's out in front of house with me all the time with Toto, and he's also a very talented bass player and amazing mix engineer. And I asked him to play bass on Manhattan Nights, and Larry Crow is awesome, talented drummer. He's been out with Toto with me too, good crew buddy, and very talented drummer. And I had Mary Fettig, who played horns on
Oh,
it. She's great. And Lenny, of course. I mean, what can I say? So he's amazing. And actually, I had written Manhattan Nights in 2011. This is kind of an interesting
wow.
backstory. I forgot about the song. Like no joke. Like I literally forgot I had done the song because we had just gotten so busy. You know, I was busy touring with Toto. We were about to hit the 2012, 2013. I was touring a lot with them.
Okay.
And then we had you know, our second in 2015. We moved in 2018. It's just been crazy. So, you know, during the pandemic, when you know everybody has all this time, I went through some old hard drives and I came across Manhattan Nights, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this song. I really like this. I got to do something with it. So, you know, it was just the actual skeleton of the song was there. The guitar, you know, I kept the same guitar tracks,
Hmm?
but then, you know, I added, you know, live players. I had sent it to Larry and I said, hey, I just came across this song. And he was so cool. He was like, oh, you got to let me play on this. I'm like, really? You want to do that? He's like, yeah. And he's like, let me call Lenny and see if he wants to get. So just kind of like, you know, domino effect from there. And it just all came together. So I was really, really happy with that. And then I actually didn't finish it till a couple months right before the release date because I listened to the entire record and I didn't like it. You know, it was 2000. What are we in 2023? Yeah, the beginning of 2023,
Okay.
and it was January, and I didn't like the flow of the whole record, and I threw away like three or four songs out of it, and I'm like, I don't like it, and I actually decided I'm gonna just really push it and work hard in it at night. And I wrote like four songs in about 2 weeks. And that one of them was uh Sunrise in the City. That was one with mostly keyboard sound. That's mostly improvised. And then I move things around after. And then Heat of the Rhythm, which is one of my personal favorite ones off that I did that. Another one, and then there's two other ones on there that I threw together. The last one, the last track, I can't remember the name of my own songs. The last track on the record, whatever it's called. I
Okay.
did that one too. Los Angeles, New York to Los Angeles. It's kind of
Yes.
a leaving the city, you know. And
Okay.
so
Coming back home.
it's yeah, it's coming back home. I want it to be like because that once I finished that, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Now it really felt like I went there and this is the journey back home. So anyway,
Okay. And it's a great journey. It sounds great.
oh well, thank you so
I
much.
I have read that it's going really good on charts too.
Yeah, it's getting some radio play. I'm just blown away. I'm you know, it's not a full on smooth jazz or contemporary jazz. It's not full on fusion. It's kind of a borderline between the two. I'm
Mhm.
not really sure what it is, but I'm really amazed and thrilled that it's been on the top 100 charts that you know the at smoothjazz.com global, and they monitor like 95 plus airways and stations and stuff. So it's you know it's doing pretty well. It's I'm just happy it's on there. It wasn't easy to get on to begin with, you know, and I was just added to a station in Melbourne, Australia. So I just found that out yesterday. I'm just amazed. You know, the reception's been really, really great. So it makes me happy. I just you never know when you try something new, you put it out there. You don't know if like who's going to like it or not. But at the same time, that doesn't really bother me too much either. I've been putting stuff out for so long, but there is that aspect too in there because it's so different than what I usually do the acoustic thing. So this time I'm going to grab my electric guitar that Luke gave me, you know, from Toto back in 2000,
Mhm.
2001. I just love that guitar. It's so awesome. The thing plays itself. It's so cool, you know. So yeah, so just tried something different, and I'm really, really pleased with how people are digging it.
You're really humble because it's great. You have to be really proud of what you did because it's really, really great. And I'm so
Oh,
happy it's going good for you. Now, I have a question for you. Your
sure.
musical hero. I'm so curious. Do you have a musical hero, an inspiration?
Um, I think I was really fortunate to be able to tour with my musical heroes with Toto, because those guys are not only the most amazing musicians I've ever been around, but also the most amazing people. They're just absolutely extraordinary people. They're so kind and welcoming and supportive, and they're just so down to earth and great. And I had known about them since I was a kid, so it's not like I just got a gig with some band that, oh, I got a gig. No, no, it was like I felt like um, I was, first of all, honored when I got the gig with them, but I also kind of secretly felt I was the right guy for the job, because I
Mhm.
had so much respect for them going into it. And there's so much history that they didn't know about with me and knowing about the band. Like when I was a kid, I had a school bus teacher that was blasting Toto on a loop,
Okay.
daily. My mom wore the Toto 4 tape out. It was all over the radio, Rosanna, Africa, and I had keyboard teachers, and they were really adamant about, like, you guys, these are the cats, and they I had a lot of respect for the band, just like, taught to me from when I was really little, and they, teach me some of the songs, and I was listening, and they're telling me about, like, these guys are session players too. And I love the Michael Jackson Thriller record, and to know that that was, basically Michael Jackson and Toto. And of course, you got Greg Gaines came out with Toto, and it's
Yes.
just been, he took me to my first Laker game too, Greg. And it was amazing to go, because I was, a big fan. So to be able to go to my first game with Greg was just incredible. Like I said, everybody's so nice and
Okay.
welcoming. And it's just, so those guys, I would say. And growing up too, I had a lot of, Jeff Beck is another amazing, legendary guitar player that I've been a
Mhm.
huge fan of. Marty Friedman was another big, guitar hero growing up in my teens. I loved his stuff that he did with Megadeth and the guitar solos,
Yes.
and I loved his tone. And I got the opportunity to actually see them at a small club in 1992, I think it was. And then they went under the name Vic and the Rattleheads. And we took the train down. I'm from outside of Chicago, so we took the train down to the metro in Chicago, and that was one of the coolest shows I've ever seen, because it was so intimate and small. And the band was just amazing. I mean, they're so tight. I mean, it was so inspiring. And it's it's hard to just pin it down to one musical hero, but with Toto, it was just, to be able to fly to my first destination, to be walking through the airport terminal with the band, was just pretty, it was on another level for me. It was really amazing.
Okay. So you were living the dream and working for them.
I felt so, yeah, because I had already run lights for Steve Lukather a couple times before we even knew each other. When I was 1998, I joined in 99. So 1998, he was playing at the Musicians Institute, where I was running lights at the time. I was also the lighting director there too. It's crazy. I got around. And he came in with Steve Lukather and friends, and of course I knew he was with Toto. So to see him, he did a couple shows. One was with Kurt Biscara on drums, and I think David Garfield on keys. Will Lee played bass. It was really amazing combo. And to hear Luke live and hear him sing and play was just
Wow.
blew me. Oh, it's the vibe. And I loved his guitar. I was like, I want that guitar, That's what I thought. I really did. I love the shape of it, the sound, the vibe, and the way he, of course, it's all in his fingers, I mean, but it's his sound. But I was sold instantly, and I was so grateful when I was able to get a guitar when he gave me one back in the day. So,
Wow.
uh, yeah. So that's that for my musical heroes. So,
Wow. And if I let me think about something. Is there something you want to tell about the album that nobody asked you? Maybe some a little story, something that you all know, something you want to share.
um, yeah. Besides the point that I forgot about one of the songs that was on there. Yeah, it was crazy. I was at the end of it, I was so tired because I've been working like crazy. I didn't even realize it's not the greatest story. I was like battling off an infection I didn't even know I had. I had smashed my foot, running the kids out to the, running around with the kids to getting breakfast ready and stuff. And I
Okay.
injured myself, and I didn't even know the injury had caught some kind of cut into, or it got an infection or whatever in my foot. And so I thought I just had almost broken my toe or something like that, right? And so I had ice on there, but I didn't take time to go get it taken care of because I'm so busy. Like getting the kids out to the car is like trying to herd cats, trying to get them going
Oh,
in the same
yes, of
directions. You
course.
know how it is, right? And it's funny because sometimes the only motivation is if I tell them I'm going to play my music, because they're not they like their pop music, and I'm like, all right guys, we can't get out to the car, we're going to play dad's music. They know, they
Oh.
run out to the car. So that's a good motivator for them. But one day it just got to the point. I was the very last day of mixing it, because I mixed everything myself, and
Okay.
listened to it through in the car, and it was the first time I made it through, because I'd listened to it a billion times, and every time, oh, I got to change this, I got to fix that. I made it all the way through, and I actually broke down. I actually broke down because I knew it was finished. It was the weirdest thing. I broke down crying because I was so emotional over the project.
Right.
I put everything into it as my only outlet, because I give everything to my kids, all of me. I don't even, there has to be a little part of me in it. So the little part of me is in the record. That's, because you know how it is as a parent, you're not, you lose yourself, right?
That's
You
it.
give all to the kids, and that's what I loved about touring. At least I'd get out there and I'd find who I am again. But anyway, so this was my kind of outlet, so I could at least have a little bit of me if that makes any sense. So I just broke down because I put so much effort into this without compromising anything with the kids. I gave them 100% of me, and then when they went to bed at night, I would put 100% into this. It was just really meant a lot to me to do something like this. So yeah, I just knew it was finished, and I felt all the stress and all the stuff that I had put through this over the past year or whatever. It was finally finished. I knew it. And then I uploaded the record to distribution, and then I went right to the um urgent care. And then it turned out that it was pretty serious, and I had to be put on really heavy antibiotics at the time. And
Wow.
so I got pretty sick after that. So that's not the most glamorous story, but it is a story that probably nobody knows that. But I'm fine now. But I put, my own health even aside to finish this, and my own and without, anyway, you kind of know where I'm going with that. So
There is another question, if I can. Why did you choose to have physical vinyl or CD in your hands? Because this album is how can I say? It's on Spotify, it's on platforms, but it's not. You can touch it. How can I say? Oh my God. Is it a choice? Oh, I am
it's
curious. I have wondered about it, but I
that's a great question, and it really just comes down to budget. If the demand
okay.
was there, if the demand and sales were there, I would do it instantly. I mean, for this, I always wanted to have a vinyl of it. It's just because
Okay.
it's that vibe, old school vibe. I'd love to have a vinyl.
So there is a chance you can release a vinyl or a
Well,
CD.
I could do it at any point. It's just it really comes down to budget. It just
Okay.
the demand isn't there. I mean, I can't spend a couple $1,000s and justify that if I'm going to sell, maybe 10 or 5 at best. I might more, but it's I don't have really the money up front to do it anyway. I'm dad with 3 kids, and
Um,
um, it's just really a budget thing. And CD Baby, the distributor, um, tongue twister. They just stopped even, distributing CDs. They just
yeah.
said that's it. We're only doing, and so I think they're kind of on the way out. Personally, I'm old school. I used to love going to a record store. I loved going to Tower Records on Sunset. There's nothing like it. You go through, you flip through the stuff. It was such a fun buying experience. You talk to the guy at the counter. Hey, what, you can ask questions,
Yes.
you know, there's
Okay.
something magical about that. And in our town here, they're just starting to bulldoze down the record store. We had a wonderful Rhino Records. It was the old school record store right in the middle of town, and it's out of business now. So
Okay.
that's a bummer. But yeah, I would love to make a vinyl. It just really depends on sales. But streams it's a whole different world from when I grew up. And we're not in the 90s anymore, in the 80s, where record sales, you make a lot more. I mean, I think right now you have to make, if I calculated this right, and anyone in the comments sort of can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you need something around like 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify to maybe make like a $500 check at the end of the month.
Wow.
That's just, that's insane. I was lucky to get, I think at this, I've peaked at about 19,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. And Spotify numbers go up and down. I know when it's the holidays, because I see a big dip in my numbers because everybody's listening to Christmas music, which is understandable, but so there's no consistency with it. So as far as actual physical sales, I mean, I have CDs still of my first few records, and I honestly don't even know what to do with it because they weren't selling. I'm gonna have to recycle them. So it's
So sad.
and it's sad, but I'm also not like a mainstream artist either. So when there's a record label pushing, or if you're just already a popular artist, then it's different. But I'm trying to slowly build a following, and I'm just grateful for people streaming it and sharing it and enjoying the music. That really means the most for me. I mean, if it was
You
about
are
the
a
money,
great artist and you've done a great work, let me say.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try.
Last question. Something new. Will you? Do you think you're going to have something, working on something new soon or not? Music.
Probably not soon. I think after this, I just did 2 years of a really hard push. I was doing monthly singles on Spotify
Mm-hmm.
and Apple Music and all that stuff. And then I went right into this album right after that. So the past 2 years, I've pushed and worked really, really hard. And I think right now I'm just decompressing from all that.
Okay.
I didn't even open up and look at Pro Tools for a while, and I'm still doing some session stuff, for great artist friend of mine, Lawson Rollins, and I played on his, Billboard chart tunes and stuff. And so I've been doing some session work for him, but and he was really a big help with helping me get my promotion aligned for this record. And so a big shout out to him for sure. And I think in the
Now
fall,
it's time to rest.
yeah, for right now, for the summer, I spend some time with the family. Just want to kind of be in the moment right now. But I think in the fall, I mean, I have ideas. I'd love to do more of a fusion-y kind of song, but with the electric guitar. Maybe ask, Larry, see if he wants to do some drums or see what's going on. I kind of want to head in that direction a little bit. It's not quite as commercial, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't know where I'm kind of in uncharted waters, I guess, because I could go back to the acoustic stuff. I could do this. I don't know. We'll see. But fall, I'm thinking maybe I'll dive back in and do a single. Yeah.
You've been really kind, and I really want to thank you for your time. You've been really, really great, and I hope to hear you soon.
Likewise.
And I hope to hear new song from new music, because you are a great artist. I'm so thankful for having you here, and thank you a million times for your art. You are a great artist. Don't be so modest, please, because you're a great
I'm
artist.
deeply touched. I mean, I really am. Most of the time I'm washing dishes and folding laundry, and I'm not folding
Oh,
in the
me
bank, right?
too. But
So I
I'm not
really
as
means a
well in
lot.
music.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and for all your kindness, and for having me on here, and hope to do it again sometime.
Okay, I hope to talk with you soon. Thank you so much again.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great rest of
Have a
your
great
evening.
time.
Okay.
Thank you
All right,
again.
bye-bye. Okay.